Lyle Finkler from AVP Capital. They put the entrepreneur at the center of what they do. Lyle, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
I appreciate you being on. We're going to really want to talk about pronounce the name of the company for me real quick.
I'm with Avendus Capital.
Avendus Capital. I didn't want to screw that one up. So
no worries.
Tell me, I don't know why I'm getting these tongue twisters today, but tell me, what does Avendus Capital do?
So we're a global financial services firm. We offer an array of full services. So we have expertise in financial advisory, wealth management, alternative asset management, and structured credit. I work in the financial advisory group, which does mergers and acquisitions, as well as PE syndication. We're about 180 people worldwide, and we're registered with FINRA in the U.S., the FCA in the U.K., and we have offices in India as well.
So truly global.
Yep.
So y'all really have a specialty, and you recently authored a report on AI.
Yes.
Can you
definitely.
Tell me about that report?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a real exciting time in AI. Four different technological and market factors are coming together that are leading to a real explosion in AI, the likes of which we haven't seen before. The first one is inexpensive parallel processing. So just the cost of having computers that can handle the massive amount of information required for AI. Then the explosion in data. So I think it was Eric Schmidt, the CEO of Google, who had said that in 2015 we were going to create more data than the previous 5,000 years of humanity, and that's only accelerated. So those are the two technological factors. And then on the market side, there's an increased demand for speed and automation, just kind of the overall trend of things having to get better and faster, and maybe even some less human interaction. And then the increased investment in M&A. So about $6 billion is expected to be invested from VCs into AI in 2017.
Well, I heard some real shocking. I was just out in Silicon Valley this week and at several summits, and the big talk is, artificial intelligence and how it's going to replace 40% of American jobs over the next 10 years. And that was kind of a shocking number.
Yeah, it's the implications of it are kind of shocking to say the least. And we view the path to AI kind of as maybe a 4-step process. At first there's the techniques, things like machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing, things I'd imagine you've heard before. And then there's narrow artificial intelligence. So that would be intelligence in a specific narrow field, and that's kind of where we think that AI currently exists. For example, Deep Blue is the world's best chess player, the program. But if you try to make it play checkers, it'll fall apart. So we don't think we're quite all the way to artificial general intelligence, which is the next step. So that's across the board human level intelligence. And then after that, there's artificial superintelligence, where the AI would exceed human intelligence.
And I want to.
So we think.
I'm going to have to take a break in a second because I really want to kind of talk about that and the difference of what we have today in general AI, because I think it's a deeper subject. And I think the public would like to know a little more about how that goes. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with Lyle in just a couple minutes. Okay, welcome back to CEO Money with Lyle Finkler. We've been drilling down into artificial intelligence. Lyle's written reports on it. Lyle, I guess, it's the hot topic. Everybody's kind of talking about it. They're not quite sure what's going to happen. What do we do? They're talking about it taking over the world and killing us all in the next 100 years.
So I think, there's a lot of, interest about it in the media, and, luminaries like Elon Musk have been ringing the bell on it, kind of raising the alarm. And, I think he's, I obviously don't know him, and I think he's probably doing it more because, now is the time when we can talk about, what artificial intelligence looks like in the world before it's kind of here and then we don't know what to do about it. But I think the good news is when you look at a lot of surveys that have been conducted, and there's one book that I think is especially excellent by Nick Bostrom called Superintelligence, and in it he has a summary of a bunch of surveys that have been done on the when AI will be at human level intelligence. And actually, a lot of these surveys have confidence intervals. So there's a 10% confidence interval, 50%, and 90%. Some of these have, a 10% confidence around the year 2020. I would say the 50% confidence interval generally comes in around 2050 or mid-century. And then, 90% confidence is kind of call it anywhere from 2070 to 2090.
Right.
It seems like a lot of the practitioners believe that we're a ways away from having human-level AI. And then one of the points that gets raised in this book is that the difference between human-level AI and artificial superintelligence is actually a bit of a red herring, because once a computer becomes human-level intelligent at improving its code and making improvements, then there's what's called a takeoff. And, I think Bostrom had said it would be as short as 18 months. So the line between those two gets blurred. But I think the summary takeaway is that we still have a ways to go.
Well, you see how fast technology is going, and it's like at lightning speed. So I don't buy it. I'm not gonna throw up the white towel yet, but it's coming fast. It's moving so quick. I mean, look what Apple just released. I can now be Dick Tracy and talk on my phone right off my watch. So
right. Yeah, absolutely. And you see, resistance to it in some pockets. Especially I think India had recently said, I'm not sure which official, but the trucking and transport industry is so large that they would just outright ban driverless cars to protect the vested interests there.
Right. So let me ask you a question. In the AI arena, who is dominating that arena right now, and are there any startups that are coming into play?
Yeah, so there's we actually in our report have an interesting page on it where there's just a ton of vendors actively participating in AI. So you have the major players, so your IBMs, Intels, Googles, Facebooks, Apples. But you'll also have some non-traditional folks in there like Johnson & Johnson, and also systems integrators, like a Cognizant or a Capgemini. You also have, tons and tons of specialized players. Some people think there are as many as 3,000 of them out there. So it's a very fragmented world. Even In-Q-Tel, which is the VC arm of, I think, the U.S. government, has done some investments around companies like Digital Reasoning and Interset, which are AI companies.
Is that some companies we should be watching?
Definitely, and also, I think the real halcyon moment was when Google acquired DeepMind in January of 2014. Right. And I think you've seen some reports of DeepMind now becoming the world's best Go player, which is a complicated, I believe, ancient Chinese game where there's more possible combinations on the board than there are atoms in the universe. So I'm not sure if that makes you feel better about how quickly this is moving or not, but it's certainly an interesting space.
It truly is, and this has been a terrific and a very interesting interview. I really appreciate you being on the show, Lyle. How can people reach you and to learn more?
So you can reach me I'm via email at us@avendus.com, and also through the Avendus website. We should have the report up there shortly if it's not up there already.
There you have it, Lyle Finkler from AVP, and appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right.